13:45. I don't often come down this way because there's usually parking on both sides of this little road, and the exit here can be quite tricky. But we're okay. This is part of St. Blaise, or St. Blaise, depending on which way you want to spell it, and it sort of merges with the small town and port of Par. I thought that van in front of me was stopping for the lights, but obviously he wasn't. A lot of roadworks in this area recently as well, which doesn't make it much fun. I wouldn't feel too happy with those little girls playing so close to the road, especially the little one. She only looks about 3-4 years old. So I'm taking the scenic route to a shopping place called The Range. It's part of a national consortium, and they do very good prices on household goods and tools and things like that. I'm going to drop in and try to find a toolbox. But there's something I want to point out on the way. Here we go. Oh, hello, what's going on here? I want to turn right. Yes, I can. Thank you. You. So we're going straight on here. Nice little fruit shop on my left. Fruit and veggies. So this huge building on my left is called Par Dry. It's where the trucks used to bring the local clay supplies and load it onto small coastal ships. Par Docks. Used to be very, very busy, but that whole industry has sort of died to death in Cornwall now. Yep, that's it. And partly due to clay being more cheaply mined, open cast mining in the US. Clay mining was a major in Cornwall up until about the 1980s, I guess, when a lot of the pits closed down. My father worked for them all his working life. So this road is known as Par Moor, and it's got a 40 miles an hour speed limit, but no cameras, so it's quite a choosy place for a little bit of speed if you're so inclined. We're currently on about 43. Like some slowpoke ahead thinks it's a 30-mile limit. So this large car park to my right is quite often full, because over here to my right now, this is the Par Market, and it's one of the largest covered marketplaces in the whole of the UK. I guess some of the stalls probably closed. That was a bit tricky. Probably closed during the COVID lockdown. Now this is the range, as you can see in front of me. I'll be going in there. I can find a parking space, that is. Let's try this one. Okay, so plan B, I was about to go into that range and I realized I had no money. Left my phone, wallet, credit cards, everything at home. So this is range part 2, but a different route this time. Partly because of the traffic lights at the bottom of that hill, and this is a quicker route anyway, which I would normally take. don't have to go along that Parmore road. Have to be careful here. This road is actually an A-class road, the A390. But this part in St. Blaise is heavily covered with speed cameras, so that 30 miles an hour limit has to be strictly adhered to. This guy got his handbrake on or what? Dearie me. This is the Britannia Inn, quite a large pub and restaurant, but I don't believe they're open yet for sit-down meals until next month. So nearly there, left where that red car's turning. Try again. Park up here, keep it legal, because we haven't got a disability sticker at the moment. Okay. Whew. So it's now 14:15 and we have a toolbox. Job done. Now for the rest of the scenic drive. Yes, so that large car park to my left with the building behind it is the covered car market. Lots of lovely stalls in there. Feeding, restaurant. No alcohol bars that I remember. But the main part of the market is only open on Wednesdays, Saturdays and Sundays. But many of the market stall holders have other businesses in a similar area in Redruth, which is about 30 miles further west. So I guess they're open on the other days of the week. Here we go. Back on the A390. So here on the left we have quite a large garden centre. And we're coming up to some traffic lights. It's a three-way junction, and the junction on the right is commonly called the New Road. I don't know if you noticed that signpost to my left, which indicated that the road to the right will lead you to Bodmin. In on the left here is a small aquarium supplies, Cudra. Use that quite often to get my cichlid fish. And I believe they've been open all through the COVID crisis. More traffic lights here because they're building a whole new estate of private properties. Can't imagine why. I don't think there's very much extra work going in this town anymore. So we're on the edge of St Austell now. This particular part is called Home Bush. Quite heavy traffic today. The Homebush Inn, quite a popular pub. Hey, what's happening here? Charlestown to the left, which is another tiny little fishing village basically, but also a favourite place for some of the traditional oldie worldy movie series. They've had sailing ships and stuff in and out of there. To my right, quite a good fish and chip shop, as well as a large, quite new Tesco store. Tesco being about the largest food store in the UK, in direct competition with Asda. But I usually go to Asda because they seem to have a greater choice. I know exactly where to find the beer, and they do a small selection of clothes and shoes and things like that, plus some electrical stuff. You know, typical store really, I guess. Notice the sign says Truro and or Newquay. Truro, where I go, I've been going for my hospital appointments, about 15 miles from here, but we won't be going that far today. So that left turn takes you down to Charlestown. Nice little pub down there as well. There's nice little pubs all over Cornwall. I want to go in the right lane here because left is only to go into the Asda. See that big place on my left? That's where I usually do my grocery shopping. And this part of the A390 is known as the St Austell Bypass. It used to be 40-mile-an-hour zone, but they've reduced it to 30 for some reason. Nothing on the left, and properties on the right. In fact, the first property I ever bought is very close to here, a little cul-de-sac named of Pensilva. Just up to my right, 2 houses back, up there. Very nice. That was about 1973, in the sum of £6,000 only. Unbelievable. But my first wife, then coming from a Plymouth family, felt very alone when I was away on my ships, so 12 months later we sold it for £12,750. So I doubled my money in 12 months, not bad, eh? Here we are. I'm going to go into the town centre. The left lane, as you can see, takes you to Mevagissey, another tiny little port, very popular with the tourists. This will take me more or less up through the town. We can't go through the main street of the town anymore, it's only pedestrian, and this is a sort of a way to access the town. To my left is the main multi-story car park. My right indicator is still not working properly, and up to my left is quite a new building area, including my bank. Whoa, where's he going? Okay. I could go to the left here, but it's a very, very windy little street, and I'll end up in the same place. This is an easier way to go. To my right, by that car park, is where we had to sign on weekly to get any payment benefit when we're out of work. But of course I haven't used that for several years. Now just around this corner, I could go straight on, but I'm going to turn left. Straight on will basically just take me out of town again. Left here. Hello, Mr. Green Bus. Now if I went left again, it would take me back to town and or the railway station. But I don't want to go to either, so I'm going to turn right. Thank you. We went over a railway bridge there. This building on my right is the town library with playing fields and tennis courts to my left. And I'll be making another left turn here. Thank you. And you'll see the reason why in about 2 minutes. When I was at school, the big school, that's it, dead ahead of me now, you can see the building, was previously known as the St. Austell Grammar School. Grammar School because they offered a higher sort of level of learning than the ordinary secondary modern schools. This part of the building to my left was the girls' school, and when I started didn't give me much room, did he? When I started in 1959 at 11 years of age, the boys and girls schools were separated by an invisible fence. But in my second year, the fence disappeared and incoming classes were mixed. And this was a story then throughout my 5 years in that school. So by the time I reached the 5th year, when we took our ordinary level certificates, we 5th year boys and girls were the only year that were segregated. So that was quite a laugh. People in the 6th form upwards, sort of age 17 to 19 or 20, when they were taking their advanced level certificates to see where and what to study at university, they were all mixed and we were the only unmixed year. Are they waiting? Yes, they're waiting on the lights. I thought he was parked. Dear me. Okay. So, let me see. I think I'll make a left turn here and go up the hill, and we will come out on the new road that I mentioned earlier, and I'll take a right there, which will take me back home again. So that will be about a 30-odd minute movie for you to watch, hopefully. Yes, this is for you, Lisa. I should have mentioned before. We had the first Grand Prix practice, a little bit disappointing. Laurie was happy watching that. I managed to get a little tiny bit of snooker, but not too bothered with that at the moment. I'll catch more of that tonight. Here we go, up the hill. It's all 30-mile limit here. Don't often see white buses. Ooh, another blue bus, or what, black, what, I don't know. What's going on here? Some little shops in there. That's another converted clay dry. Yep. Ooh, that's a big truck. So we're going to turn right at this little roundabout. Yes, thank you. And this is part of the new road, which will take us back home again. Look at that lovely view. See the sea, and that peninsula sticking out is hiding the port of Fowey. We usually pronounce it Foy, F-O-W-E-Y. The non-locals pronounce it Fowie. Here we go. Ah, beautiful. So this is the bonus view. Extra reason for coming up this hill. I think the speed limit here is 40, but it's not the same through the whole of the hill. It's a bit strange. But I don't believe there are any speed cameras, so given the absence of police these days, it's not much of a risk to go more than 40 on this type of road. Obviously the car in front of me doesn't think the same way, huh? And I was expecting rain. Can't complain. Run-up area. Escape lane for trucks. Don't know if that would work. Here we are, down at the bottom of the hill again, quite close to that Cudra aquarium shop that I mentioned earlier. Or turn right and back into St Austell again, but we will turn left. And head for home, James. Again, 40-mile-an-hour speed limit on this part of the road. Fowie, Pardux. There we go. We already came up from that right direction earlier. This is the Britannia pub again on the right. Lady there waiting for a bus or what? No, I don't think so. Reduced to 30 halfway up the hill. Spot on. This is where we have the cameras all over the place. Little fish and chip shop on my right, quite popular. Not open every day of the week at the moment. This road to the left will take me to the Eden project, which you may have heard of, the big covered domes which they built inside a disused clay pit. Very, very popular, quite expensive. And they They also have groups and things up there in the evening sometimes, but I guess when you live locally, you're not quite so interested. I do have a grandson who works there. He was laid off for a while, but I believe he's working again now on the gardens. So good for him. So we're home again. And that's it for now. All I have to do now is load the movies up. Oh, look, lots of work going on here.